San Antonio overcoming a 15-point deficit in the final 17 minutes of that game. They had a 21-5 run. They had a 12-0 run. And now they lead that series 2-1, doing that without Victor Wembanyama because of the concussion that he suffered in Game 2. So the question heading into Game 4, Wemby's status after that concussion. We head to Portland, where the dancers are in full stride and where Malika Andrews is standing by.
Standing by, Ernie, or dancing by a little bit? But you're absolutely right. The story of this game here is Victor Wembanyama. So let's just walk through the timeline that Victor has gone through since he sustained that concussion on Tuesday, right? Remember that he has to be away from basketball games for 48 hours at least, and until both the league and the team doctors clear him. So on Wednesday, that's 24 hours after that concussion was sustained, that's when he was able to get on the bike. He was able to do a little bit of light cardio, and he's still doing 2 neurological tests per day. On Thursday, that's when he was able to start doing some non-contact basketball activities that then ramped up on Friday. So the San Antonio Spurs, they were actually hopeful that he was going to be available, that he was going to be able to play on Friday. Obviously, that's not what came to fruition, but it was a good sign that he was in the arena. It was an incredibly loud, rocking environment, and you know with head injuries, sometimes that's not advised. So the fact that he felt well enough to be able to do that, that says something. I saw Victor yesterday. He went to the team's film session. He was all smiles. He seemed to be in a really good mood. And it's looking like we're going to know about 10 o'clock whether or not he's going to be able to go for this game. My understanding is there is some level of optimism that he's going to be available. But again, remember, there are multiple people, multiple doctors, both on the team side and on the league side, that are eventually going to have to clear him if he's going to be able to play. They are very, very cautious when it comes to concussions here, but they're hopeful. In the meantime, what they did Harper, what they were able to see from Harper Castle, that was really encouraging for San Antonio. And if you're able to add Victor back into that mix, they're really optimistic about their chances in this series, Ernie.
Malika Andrews, thank you very much, and great concentration given what's going on behind.
I'm joining the party now, Ernie. I'm going to join the party now.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Got it. Go, girl.
and you know what else? What else is really special? Is we'll be talking to your husband in the next segment. Dave McMenamin, your husband, will be joining us.
Make him do the move.
They was trying to battle us, Ernie. Dance off with the Portland Trailblazers dancing.
Awesome.
We're ready. Tell them they doing that dance routine wrong back there.
Everyone on Inside the NBA says y'all are rocking right now, and they're ready for a dance battle. They're ready to take you on, Chuck. It's you versus them.
That's no contest. Battle. All right, thank you very much.
Couldn't even concentrate. I was like, what is he saying?
I know. If it's even possible to get this back to Game 4 between the Spurs and the Blazers.
You know what song I was thinking while they was dancing?
No, see, I was trying to get us back to basketball. No, what song were you thinking about?
To be honest, it was hard to concentrate, Ernie.
Harper Castle, Dylan Harper.
You know I love
sensational the other night.
Mr. Harper, a good friend of ours, better be worried, because his son is coming. He's going to be the best player in the family soon. To me, Castle, you know, I love Castle. Yes. I mean, I started watching him when we were at UConn a couple of years ago.
Breaking a sweat from that dance game there, man.
Working on me. You lost a lot of weight, but you ain't in shape. Lost a lot of weight, but he ain't in shape. You know the only thing I'm really thinking? The only thing I'm really thinking.
Bruno Mars concert last night.
Oh, my God. I love me some Bruno Mars. But the only thing I'm thinking is which one of y'all going to give me mouth to mouth? Oh, no, that's all. I mean, you know, Kenny.
Closest.
I failed that class. You know, but Castle and Dylan, man, they got a bunch of really good players. I'm curious about the Wembanyama situation. Are they going to play him or just give him a few more days off? Because it would be must play if they had a lost Game 3. Yeah. But I wonder if because number one, they still got a good solid team with or without the Wembanyama. So I just wonder what their mindset is gonna be. Because they don't probably play again to Tuesday or Wednesday.
They'll play Tuesday.
They'll play Tuesday. So he'd have almost a week off, basically. So but I hope he plays today because he's such a great kid. And like I say, they got a great medical staff down there, and they're going to make a good decision.
Spurs took 2 out of 3 from them in the regular season. Wemby didn't play in any of those games.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I would like to see him play if he's 1,000% healthy. You know, one thing you know with the Spurs, a.k.a. the system, they're going to play the same way. So, you know, the 2 young fellas out there playing, they're playing phenomenal. They always play that way, you know, with or without Victor Wembanyama. They're confident now. They're super confident now. Portland has to make a lot of adjustments, but if I was San Antonio staff, like you said, Chuck, I would not play him this game, let him get a week off, and then we get back to the crib, get back to our doctors, hook him up with some of that icy hot. He'll be ready to go.
Dylan Harper, by the way, youngest in NBA history to score at least 25 off the bench.
Wow.
And as he did the other night when he had 27. So on the other side, we're seeing like a breakout performance for Scoot Henderson.
Yes.
Missed 51 games this season. And what's he scored right now in this year? What, 23 a night? And this is from a guy who in the regular season was scoring 14.
Yeah, what it is, Ernie, is in the playoffs, the scouting report is we're going to go under screens, not let him get in this scenario, in transition. So we don't want him in transition. We don't want him in that mid-range because he's so physical. That's where his 14 points a game come to. And this is when, and Shaq alluded to earlier, the regular season you make your name, the playoffs you make your fame. And because now the scouting reports go under the screen. And he's like, no, that is not the scouting report on me anymore. I worked on this all summer, and I've been knocking down shots from 3, and I also have a step-back 3 that I just wasn't using as much. And now, because he's playing more minutes, he's getting to show that he can now knock down the 3. And that was the only knock on him coming into the league. He was physical enough, he was athletic enough, he was strong enough, and it was like, can he knock down the 3 consistently to get to those things that he's great at? And that's what's happening in this series.
And he's 12 out of 23 from deep.
And you look at the good young teams in the NBA. Charlotte's got a good young team. The Atlanta Hawks got a good young team. Portland might be the best one out of the group. They got a bunch of really good young players, but we never show them. I don't know if they've been on national television at all. I watched them play last week against the Suns. I said, the Suns can't beat them. I said that going into the play-in. And I thought this would be a very good series. They're young. They got a really bright future. Coach Splitter's done a fabulous job.
He really has.
He's done a fabulous job, especially with all the noise was around that team. But so I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
You said an interesting stat. I didn't know they had beaten them all those times without Wemby.
Yeah.
That's a good nugget right there.
Meantime, Denny Abdi has been
he's been
good.
amazing.
And also you got the veteran presence of a guy like Drew Holiday, who's an NBA champion, who's played 100 games now in his playoff career.
The Spurs proving they can win without Wemby. San Antonio taking Game 3 of the series against Portland in Portland on Friday without Victor Wembanyama. He's out with a concussion. Left Game 2 right there after that fall. Was questionable for Friday's win. His status still in doubt for today's Game 4 as the Spurs look to go up 3-1 in the series. For more on the injuries across the NBA to the Stars in these playoffs is our star, Tim Bontemps, joining the program. Tim, good morning. Great to see you. What is the latest on Victor Wembanyama's status for Game 4 today?
Well, good morning to you, too. And we'll see if Victor Wembanyama will be able to play this afternoon as he was for Friday's game against Portland. He's listed as questionable for this Game 4 against Portland with the ongoing symptoms of this concussion, whether he'll be able to work through the concussion protocol and be able to play this afternoon. Now, the stress on San Antonio is much different than it would have been if they had lost Game 3 and been down 2-1 in the series, thanks to an incredible game from Dylan Harper, who had a huge second half of power, a 15-point comeback in the third quarter. San Antonio came back and won that game. So it does give the Spurs a little bit of flexibility in terms of whether they can get Victor back on the court. However, he has been ramping up over the past several days, has been trending, it looks like, towards potentially playing today. But again, we know concussions are tricky things. You have to get through the protocol to get cleared. We'll see if he's able to, by this afternoon, to be able to play in that Game 4 against Portland, where the Spurs will try to take a commanding 3-1 lead.
Yeah, Harper showed out for the rookie off the bench, going for north of 20 to help secure that win. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid listed as doubtful for tonight's Game 4 against the Celtics. He continues to try and recover from that emergency appendectomy he underwent when the team was in Houston during the regular season. What's the latest you're hearing on Embiid's availability, Tim?
Well, as you said, he's still doubtful for tonight's game. However, we have seen plenty of times in the past that Joel Embiid has gone from doubtful to playing, so I wouldn't necessarily take that to mean he isn't going to play. But as you laid out, this is an abdominal surgery that is a difficult thing to recover from. We're only 2.5 weeks out from this surgery. The Sixers said about a couple hours before Friday night's Game 3 that while Embiid is progressing well and the doctors are happy with where his recovery is at, he was not quite ready to go and be able to play for them in that Game 3, which they wound up losing to the Celtics down the stretch on Friday night. Now, Embiid has been in a strength and conditioning program for about a week. He participated in practice on Thursday. He was part of shoot-around on Friday, so he has been participating in things. He has been ramping up. The question just will be, is he able to get himself to a point where he's able to go in this Game 4 with obviously the Sixers with their backs against the wall down 2-1 in the series and trying to even it up at home? And if he is able to play, what his availability will be, because you wouldn't think he'd be able to walk in and immediately play 35 minutes. But certainly for a team trying to go up against the 2-seeded Celtics and try to get themselves back in the series, it would be a big boost if they can get their star center back on the court tonight.
Yeah, that game later this evening, so still a couple hours before we get a definitive answer. But Tim Bontemps reading the tea leaves this morning for us on SportsCenter. Tim, much appreciated. Great to see you.
We're going to keep it going about the Sixers and the Celtics with NBA analyst Quentin Richardson on SportsCenter. Time for a segment that we like to call the QR code.
Come on.
All right, Q Rich, what is the code for the Sixers to even up this series?
The QR code for the Sixers is easy. You need Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and possibly a Paul George. They got to play fast. They got to get out, push the pace, play fast, lead with their defense. And these guys got to have scoring nights. 2 out of the 3 of them got to have big-time nights. I mean, PG has been, he's been pacing himself, but he needs to have a big night. But the guy, Tyrese Maxey, he's been the all-star, been the leader. He needs to have a big night, and they could definitely use anything the rookie VJ Edgecombe wants to give them energy-wise, because they got to come out and make a statement early and try to push the pace and get the Celtics on their heels.
All right, Q, what about the QR code for San Antonio? They're trying to go up 3-1, potentially without Wemby.
QR code for the Spurs is lead with their defense, guys. They have a great defensive team. Even when Wemby is out, they have length, they have deep, they have depth, they have guys that can play 3-and-D, switchable guys, and they have youth, man. They got a lot of youthful athleticism and guys that can switch. You seeing it right here, the Dylan Harpers, the Steph Castles, the Carter Bryant, Champagne. All of these guys got to go out there and lead with their defense and try and smother them. And you know that one of these guards or one of these guys are going to have a big offensive night. So if they can do those things and hold down the paint, Luke Cornett has done a great job filling in for Wemby, and they have a record that's favorable when Wemby doesn't play. So they can get it done.
All right, Lakers, meanwhile, they're 1 win away from sweeping the Rockets. They were massive underdogs to start this series. KD, questionable for this one after missing Game 3 with that ankle injury. What's the QR code for Houston to just try to get back in this series?
First of all, they got to take everything one game at a time, man. Everybody's going to announce that it's over. They're going to, nobody comes back from 3-0. You can only win one game at a time. They got to lock in and focus on that concept. And then they got to try and go out there and muck up the game, make everything extremely tough. You can't have Luke Kennard coming off the bench and getting 20+ and having a big game. Obviously, LeBron is LeBron, but even with that, you got to push him and make him try and feel his age, because right now he's not looking 41 in this series. He's looking about 30 years old.
It just takes a soft mattress to make LeBron feel like he's 41 years old. As someone who's past that mile marker. All right, let's finish up with the Cavs trying to take a 3-1 series lead against Toronto. What's the QR code for Cleveland?
QR code for Cleveland is to get in there early and try and take that fan base out of it. I said this before when they went up 2-0 that it wasn't over until I saw them play in Toronto, because they are a different team when that crowd gets going. They got one of the best fan bases and one of the loudest arenas in the league in the NBA. So you have to come out there early and hit first and try and get them on their heels and try and keep the crowd out of it as much as you can. Play with your defense, and obviously you got those two superstars in James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. They need to lead the way.
Tip off 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Quentin Richardson with the very latest for us, easy for me to say, on SportsCenter. Thanks, Q Rich.